and welcome to one and all. My name is Pektal Shir, past English Inspector for the City of Jerusalem and Greater Jerusalem Districts, member of the Executive Committee and Pedagogical Head of the English Tutoring Programs. I would now like to welcome Sunny Malshansky, CEO of ESRA, for opening words. Sunny.
Good morning, everyone.
Like I said, ETP is ESRA's largest volunteer-based program. Thanks to your dedication, we have grown from 100 to 1,000 volunteers in only 4 years. Investing 65,000 volunteering hours in improving English during 2022. So first, we would like to share our deepest appreciation to our ETP lead teams for making this happen. I think they deserve a huge applause. You're amazing, ladies. You also know that the ministry is struggling with tremendous challenges, especially in English. And unfortunately, some schools are struggling, and some of them are lacking. We have a representative, so I'm trying to be diplomatic here.
You can say.
Some schools have an absence of English teachers, and unfortunately it has become an ongoing circumstance. But ESRA, as the English-speaking home in Israel, should and can step up to raise and do as much as we can to positively impact this situation. So how we're going to do that? So first of all, the most important thing in the program is the people, is the ESRA people, ESRA volunteers. And here is just a brief map so you know where our volunteers are coming from. We have volunteers from the corporate and private sector. We have national service. We have olim of all ages and stages of their aliyah. We have overseas volunteers, and we also have university students. A program like ETP cannot last and grow tremendously without some success factors.
Success?
Just testing again your awareness. I think Yolanda is here. You're the one who, here's Yolanda. Yolanda gave us a tip. So, really the essence of the program and the success of the program lies in its teamwork from our volunteers and staff, our openness to constantly learn, change, and improve, and expand the program and positive feedback. We are ambitious, and we would like to grow in numbers, both in volunteers and in volunteering hours, but mainly we would like to grow in the service that our volunteers receive during their volunteering, and also growing the impact in the ministry as much as possible. It takes a village to raise a child. I think we all can agree with that. So what's our direction? Where are we going in the upcoming school year? So first of all, our goals are to, of course, improve English oral proficiency, return to schools, curriculum-based programs to help those in school. Our target population are students of all levels, in all sectors, and non-native English-speaking teachers that are seeking for practice. Our guidance from the ministry, focus in our sectors, as you can see, are split into Jewish, Arab, and Orthodox in both online and in-school programs. ESRA ETP has grown tremendously and is focusing on two main aspects. One is improving our oral proficiency in two programs, which you're going to hear later on, and in school curriculum-based tutoring, which you're also going to hear very soon. So I welcome Pat back to go into the real reason why we're here.
Thank you, Sunny. Before I do that, as Sunny said, ESRA ETP is supported and recommended by the Ministry of Education, and thanks to their commitment to help us grow and the close partnership has enabled us to flourish. And it is my great pleasure to invite my friend, Meirav Kubi, District English Councillor for the Tel Aviv District, who represents the Ministry. Meirav.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah. So as Pat, my dearest friend, introduced me, I'm part of the English Inspectorate in Tel Aviv District, and Herzliya is one of my areas. When I look at you, I'm so moved. I see so many good people that really help and assist our schools, especially when we have lack of English teachers. And also your presence gives our students the opportunity not only to enrich their world of English and speaking skills, but also interact and even reach each one of our students in their own levels, which sometimes is very difficult when we have crowded classrooms and teachers don't always have the opportunity to reach each one of their students. And with your presence, it gives the impact, and teachers are really, really grateful for your assistance inside the classrooms. But not only that, when I look at you and when you enter our schools, you give our students also an important message, which is the volunteering value, what to give to the society, and it's really an important value that they learn, that you need to give the society in order to get back. So I would like to wish you a wonderful, wonderful year. Have a happy new year. May your year be filled with a lot of health, joy, happiness, and thank you again for everything. Shana Tova. So, thank you.
Okay, so before I talk about my program, which is in school, I want to tell you that it is such a privilege to be present here and to welcome the wonderful ET programs and let you learn more about them, all the amazing opportunities that we're going to give you to volunteer. So with no further ado, the in-school program. Okay, so our in-school program is who we are, okay? We're not teachers, all right? You don't have to. I know that I have teachers sitting here in the audience because I met some past colleagues, but you do not need to be a qualified teacher to be part of the in-school program. The idea is that you are giving, as Meirav so correctly said, of yourselves to the next generation of Israeli pupils in the classrooms, all the way up from elementary, junior high, and high. Okay, what we do is we try our utmost to make sure that you are given very, very small groups, if not only one individual pupil. We go no more than 5. The teachers and the schools know what the rules of the game is, and that they may only give the in-school tutors between 1 and 5 pupils. Okay, we want you to make the difference. We want you to be the ray of sunshine in those pupils' lives. And just now we're going to hear from volunteers that have already been in the schools just how that's done. So may I present Alan Scher, okay, who is a volunteer from Jerusalem. Jerusalem, I have to say this, I met with Rebecca when I was still an inspector, and all I can say is it's grown, and it's still growing, and Alan is evidence of that. Alan.
Good morning. We only started, my wife and I only started volunteering last year in a high school in Malat, one of the suburbs of Yerushalayim. Our first introduction was to Year 11 students, but they actually thrived on talking and reading with us. And as we entered the playground of the school, they would come up to us, and all kids of all years that we actually tutored would come up to us, and the teachers said the students vie for our time. There is competition between the students for the 2 hours that we have there twice a week, and which made us really happy. Also, they were wondering, we're from Australia, which created a very interesting situation of them questioning us and asking questions and talking about Australia. In the latter half of the end of last year, Rebecca asked us to go to a primary school, different kettle of fish. These are, 5 and 6 class kids. They were also very interested, very willing to accept us and to learn. And the teacher actually remarked that when they come back into class, they actually do work. They do their homework, which is unusual in this country, getting homework, that is. But they also vied for our time. So I think the last year has been very positive, both for my wife and myself, in helping these children. And be interesting, if we go back to the same high school, how the Year 11 boys did in their Bagrut. And I hope that they've done well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma. Thank you so much. So before we go on, I just want to say that the idea of the in-school program is that it's close to home. Once you have registered as a volunteer, the local coordinator, some of whom are sitting here with us, will contact you and make sure that you are given a school of your choice, whether it be elementary, junior high or high. And not only that, but you are given ongoing support, not only by the teacher and the staff of the school, but also by the wonderful ESRA staff, including myself and my amazing, amazing colleagues. We will give you ongoing help to make sure that you are giving what you want to give, getting out of the kids what there is, and like we like to say, it's a win-win situation. So don't hesitate, don't even think about it twice, sign up for us. Okay, so now I'm carrying on with my wonderful colleagues. So please join me in welcoming Bibi Jacobs, the head of TOPS.
Hi, it's lovely to be here. I must say that this is both a very happy occasion because it's so nice that we're all coming together. It's been a long time since some of us have met face to face. But it's also quite a sad occasion for me because Lawrence, my husband, and I have gone back to live in England, sadly, for family reasons. So I am actually resigning from my position as the TOPS coordinator at the end of October and handing over to somebody called Karen Sokowski. So I hope those of you involved in TOPS will be meeting her soon. She's not unfortunately here today, but just wanted you to know it's going to be quite a long transition period, so hopefully that will go really smoothly. So what does TOPS stand for? Well, TOPS is Tutoring Online Programme for Students. We're the Zoomers. We're the people who during COVID really got into the idea of tutoring using Zoom and have continued to do so for many reasons. Some of us don't live near the schools where we started tutoring, and we also began to have tutors from abroad as well, from England, America, Canada and other places. So they have continued tutoring on Zoom. And the other reason that some people have continued to tutor on Zoom is because we now deal as well with students in the Arab population who didn't have tutors before, who were willing to go in and tutor in the schools, but now it's on Zoom, this has become possible. And we have lots of Arab students who are now benefiting from our tutoring. So the students that we work with are between grades 5 and 9, And we ask the teachers to choose the weaker students. We're helping them with their school curriculum, but we want the students who need a real boost of confidence so that whatever we can tutor with them can be a real help for them. We don't want the ones who have learning difficulties or developmental problems, and that's mainly because most of the tutors, as Pat said, are not teachers. So with the training that we give them, we can't help them to tutor people who have dyslexia or learning developmental difficulties, but still they are the ones who are weak with their English. Okay. I can go through this very quickly because I think this is the same for most programs, that we tutor once a week. Because it's on Zoom, it's a 40-minute session because that's the platform that Zoom allows you to do. We encourage people to do one-on-one, but we have some tutors, and you're going to hear from one in a minute, who are willing to take students in small groups. And that's fantastic, obviously. It's a different experience for them. We're often asked, how much Hebrew do I need? You really don't need very much Hebrew. If you have no Hebrew at all, then we'll give you probably a student who's slightly older, maybe not a grade 5, but it doesn't really matter. The idea is that you're encouraging them with their English. So even if you have to speak very slowly and very clearly, speak in English. Okay, so as we said, the idea is to help them with their schoolwork, which involves comprehension, reading skills, vocabulary, conversation, and then maybe some quizzes or something a bit more interesting, and you'll share their schoolwork online. Okay, ESRA has a really good website. We've been working very, very hard to put more resources and materials on that website. So there's lots. If you don't just want to do the school curriculum with the children, then go to the website, choose some material, maybe divide the session into mostly schoolwork, but 10, 15 minutes at the end. Do something really interesting. I've got here lots and lots of resources. So go to the website after this, have a look at those resources, and you'll get some ideas for tutoring. Okay. I think we can move on. So, as Pat said, this is a win-win program, and it's really, really true. We have tutors, especially those from abroad, who just say, this is amazing. I feel such a strong connection with Israel because I'm helping students. And of course, the students are benefiting. And now I'd like to invite Ilan Israel, one of our tutors who's been working for quite a number of years with TOPS, and actually Ilan goes into school as well as tutors on Zoom, and he'll just speak for a minute about our program and his experiences. So Ilan.
Hello everyone. I started working with Zoom when I was already a tutor for an elementary school in Kfar Saba, which is where I live, and COVID started, and I told them that I would happily continue on Zoom, but I wasn't going to go into the school at that stage, and they said we have no facilities for you. So I said, well, then we have to part ways. And then ESRA came up with the program of working with Zoom. And since then, I've been working with a school in Afula, which, for those of you that know, Israeli geography is not really next to Kfar Saba. And I've been working with 5th and 6th graders in a small group. This is my 4th year, I think, working with them, 3rd or 4th year. And I have a group of who are now 6th graders. I worked with them last year in the 5th grade, and I work with them once a week. There are 4 of them. And on the whole, it's a pleasure. Now, working with Zoom is also sometimes a bit of a problem. Technologically, either they can't all connect at the same time, or I can't connect with them, or I can't always see them when they're connected, or they don't get near their computer and they try to log in from a mobile phone, which isn't quite as effective. But on the whole, they've been very, very productive. I personally try once a year to get up to Afula and meet the kids in person. I have very good relationship and support from the English teacher in the school. So she gives me a lot of help, a lot of ideas, but I also can use my own initiative. And so far it's been a very rewarding experience for me, and from what I can see, for the kids and for their families as well.
Yeah,
So thank you.
I went with Ilan and to the school, and we met with the English coordinator there, and it was a really, really good experience. So.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Ilan.
Thank you, Bibi. Lola Katz will now enlighten you about the code program.
Whoops. Okay, good. Is it hearable? Okay, so first of all, we're going to ask, what is COBE? COBE is an acronym for a computerized oral Bagrut exam. It was introduced, interestingly, only in 2019-20 to the 12th graders. Before that, it replaced, there are two sessions. There are two sessions for it. They had a winter COBE in mid-December, and there is a summer COBE in mid-March. And it replaced the previous oral Bagrut, which had been in place for 12th graders. If anybody doesn't know, Bagrut stands for a matriculation exam. So what do students talk about in the COBE? The exam's divided into three parts. There's part A, which is answering questions about a topic. Now, the topic can be about anything. It could be about food, it could be about your free time, but they are structured topics, and there are lists of them provided by the ministry. Notice that they only have to talk for 1 to 2 minutes for part A. Now, this seems like almost nothing, but for some students it's almost impossible. There isn't a time limit, but they have to at least speak for 20 seconds. If they don't speak for 20 seconds, they don't get a mark. So that's your objective, to get them to speak for at least 1 to 2 minutes. Then the second part, part B, is they're answering questions about a research project which they do. And some teachers even say you don't have to do, because they do it quite well themselves. And the last one is answering questions about an audio-visual clip. This is something that is new. It's become compulsory for all schools. Up until now it wasn't compulsory. And what the students see is a audio-visual clip, which is something like a TED Talk for teenagers. Here, each student during the exam will interact with an avatar who's called Alfie, and they answer questions on all three parts. Satsani, could you just go back? Here's Alfie, and that's what the students see. And it's something that you're going to prepare them for. When are the tutoring sessions, and how many students do I meet? Now, unlike what happens in TOPS, you're not going to meet students for 15 sessions. In fact, it's something quite different. In online COBE, we offer two formats. The one is that 4 friends meet as a group and they interact with the tutor, and I specify that they are friends because then they feel comfortable talking in front of one another. We ask the teacher to choose the groups in this way. They may not all be the same level, and it's a big advantage, especially if the tutor doesn't speak the language of the students. So we had a pilot last year and it proved to be very useful. However, there are still some schools and some tutors who prefer the one-on-one, and then you will do that, but you will not see them for longer than 4 weeks. In school, they meet during the English period on the timetable, and in that format, you may only see the students once. And you may think, well, what am I doing it for? But you're giving them confidence. Sunny, next. How will I know what to do? And I have no tutoring experience, is what lots of tutors say. But you don't need experience. First of all, there is a handout, and if you come to my desk at the end, I can give you the link to the handout. It's also available on the ESRA site, all about COBE, Part A, Part B, and Part C. Everything is explained, and it's approved by the Ministry. There's also ongoing pedagogical team support. What are our objectives? To offer students from grades 10 to 12 the opportunity to speak English and build confidence for their oral bagot in a non-judgmental and supportive setting. It's not to get them good grades, it's not to make them sound like English speakers, and it's not to form a long-term relationship. I do need to point out that in the tutoring session for 12th grade, we ask tutors to give a simulated format of the actual exam, so that when the students come to do the actual exam, there are no surprises. They feel quite comfortable, and so it's not just any kind of chatting.
Shouldn't the class teacher be doing that?
My computer skills are limited, so is this program right for me? And we say to you, absolutely. Indeed it is. Only very basic skills are needed. We give training, which are easily learned, and current tutors who once had these doubts can't wait to return to their online tutoring. Next, Sunny, please. Why should I choose this program over other programs? Now, this is a question which perhaps for many of you are already tutoring in a program, and we're saying to you, by all means continue with that session, but what we are asking is that you also join us.
Sorry, just show it, make it a bit
To hold
bigger.
it?
No, just let me check here. Just a second.
Okay, before you go to there.
No, not going, just a second.
Okay.
That's it.
So let me read to you what one of our tutors said. He wasn't able to be with us today. His name is Lou Kohlberg, and this is what he said. When I first heard about online COBE tutoring, I was hesitant about joining. I'm not a qualified teacher. But when I read the handout, I realized this was definitely doable. I chose to work with students in the Arab sector. After living in Israel for 50 years, I thought it was time I had some contact with this sector. All I can say is that each week I look forward to the sessions with the students. We always include a short time for small talk, a way to build trust, and a way to get to know one another a little better. They are motivated and appreciative of the program. I always feel energized after a session and have a renewed feeling of hope for our country. Working with online COBE is one of the most satisfying volunteering activities I've done. It truly is a win-win situation. And the win-win situation was an expression which was coined by a previous coordinator, national coordinator of the program, Michael Levinson, who I'm pleased to say is sitting with us today. So Michael, we've come a long way since those early days. So why also do we suggest that you join? No travel hassles, no materials to prepare. Wherever you live, you can give students the confidence to speak English and succeed in their oral exam. And the thing is that this, as Bibi already said, we can reach students where we don't have ESRA branches who would never have the opportunity to enjoy what we offer. And you will be building bridges across communities, giving students in all sectors real life skills. So please join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lola. Helen Osimo, Dr. Helen Osimo, is our next presenter who will present Chataway. Helen.
Are you working this? Yes, but don't touch this because it starts to jump. Okay, keep away from it. Okay.
Good morning. ESRA Chataway, taking English out of the classroom, and that's really important because that is exactly what we do. So the aim of the program, taking English out of the classroom, means that you talk with our students on absolutely anything that comes to mind, and of course also bridge gaps between generations, but I'll get to that in a minute. So the aim is to advance the speaking skills in English of Israeli school children. 30 to 40 minute weekly chats with individual students on Zoom after hours, after school hours. 1 second. What we ask students to use a camera, we ask our volunteers to use a camera, and it's with us, it's always one-on-one. We find that works better. I also mentioned minimal involvement of the English teacher because, as we know, our English teachers in Israeli schools are really burdened, and this program, appeals to them for that reason, among others. So who is our target population? Middle and high school students with good levels of English. We really insist that the school teachers select 5 students each, students that can handle a conversation, students that are respectful, I use that word, appreciative, I use that word, and highly motivated to improve their English speaking skills. We work in the secular, religious, and Arab schools, in towns and villages of all socioeconomic levels and all over the country, of course. Our Chataway tutors are native speakers in Israel, and we have a lot now from the UK and from the US. This was a major breakthrough for us, as well as bursary students, meaning scholarship, university students that get a scholarship for numbers of hours that they tutor, and that works really well as well. As with the other programs, you need no teaching experience. We offer guidance in various ways. First of all, tutorials on Zoom know-how. We offer an orientation meeting in which you can ask as many questions as you like, and we give a breakdown of instructions of how we advise you to conduct the chats. 2 or 3 times a year, we offer a tutorial on conversation strategies, which is mainly to get the reluctant student to talk, ways of correcting or ways of not correcting. We also have twice a year a lovely Zoom get-together where volunteers share ideas, and we discover that our volunteers are really creative, and it's very nice to share between the volunteers, and also to share problems that may arise too. We also have a long list of resource materials, which includes video clips, as well as topics, pictures, photographs for you to upload on screen and talk about. You can even send these things to the student in advance for next week's chat. I just want to explain how we've grown. I mean, we started in 2020 with an email to Sani saying, I have 40 Haifa volunteers, because I'm also the ETP coordinator for Haifa. How can we make ourselves useful? Those were my words. And then I said, what about chats on cell phones? And all of a sudden, Zoom came into being in a very big way, and that was an absolute breakthrough for us. And that was back in 2020. So we've had 4 years, and in the last year, we had 250 volunteer student pairs. Some volunteers take more than one student, working in 90 schools up and down the country. We've had dozens of positive feedback messages, emails, and phone calls from volunteers who really enjoy it, are very rewarded from the teachers who are really appreciative, from the students themselves, and especially rewarding is to get from parents who call me or WhatsApp me and say how marvelous it's been. Can they send a present to the volunteer and all things like that? So it's a win-win situation, as we've said. So I will say what Chataway can offer you, because we're competing for programs here. Convenience, no parking problems, flexible hours from your home. The hours, by the way, you, the volunteer, arrange with your student once you're matched, and you can be as flexible as necessary. The possibility of getting to know native Israeli kids and their world, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference to a young person who otherwise could never afford such individual attention. And I want to just say something about individual attention. A lot of volunteers say to me, you know, he really likes to talk to me because nobody else sits and talks to him for 40 minutes in any language. So it's you know, it's something very special to have somebody that's just yours, for the student to have an adult giving, you know, 100% attention for half an hour to 40 minutes. So that's what everybody gets out of it. And is there another slide? Okay, so I just wanted to say that the Arab sector is handled by my colleague Frankie Jaffe, who couldn't make it today. She does a marvelous job in quite a difficult situation because we have a lot of Arab students that want to participate, and she manages to match people who are very happy to engage in that sector. And I want to thank Kathy, who has been an amazing angel. We've only met today after 5 years of working together. So thanks everybody for coming, and hopefully you'll buy my product.
Well done. Thank you, Helen. Okay, so last but not least, Rosalind Jacobs will tell you about Teacher Chat. Rosalind.
Thank you.
Oh, my successful person.
Oh, there you are, there you are. I'm obviously not paying enough, so.
Sorry, this is Carolyn, who has been with Chataway for a couple of years and will share her experience.
So Helen just said her successful person. Let me tell you, I'm only one of many, so I do need to correct your English on that. So I'm probably going to be repeating some of the information that you've just received, but then so much of it does affect all of us. So after volunteering in a couple of schools, Helen asked me to participate in a new program, Chataway. And as many of you are aware, it is conversation only and doesn't follow any academic program. For me, it had advantages. For me, it had advantages of not having, can't read my own writing, of not having to travel, and was much more flexible with times. Initially, I was rather dubious, as previously about connecting someone physically made it much easier. The girl I was assigned is a student in Yud Aleph, and that's 11th grade, and attended a religious girls' school, and lived in a totally different world to me. We connected very easily and fast, and she had an additional disadvantage with both of her parents being hearing and speech challenged. So she obviously had absolutely no opportunity to be practicing any English whatsoever. We had many conversations covering various subjects and many out of her life experience. I'm happy to tell you she received 96 in her Begrot, and I even had an opportunity to speak to her teacher. And her teacher, Helen, by the way, is asking that she has an opportunity to have more than 5 students.
Okay. Hi again, everybody. Can you hear me? All right, great. Okay, so it's great to see some of you are on the Teacher Chat programme, and welcome, and hopefully others will be joining soon. It sounds like we're in a competition, and no, I really would love you to join all the other programmes as well, but maybe I'm not allowed to say that. So, what is Teacher Chat? Teacher Chat is exactly what it says, Teacher Chat. We're not dealing with the students at all. We're not dealing with we're dealing with the teachers not in their schools, so we don't even know where they are at school. What's important is the teachers come to us voluntarily, are very motivated, and why do they come to us? Because they're non-native English speakers who don't get a chance to practice their English, and they don't have the confidence. And a lot of these teachers, they've all got degrees in English, 1, 2, 3 degrees, doctorates in English, whatever. So they can, they could write you a doctorate thesis, no problem. But because they don't live in an English-speaking community, many of them, they don't get a chance to practice and they have no confidence. And many people say to me, many of our volunteers, oh, their English is so good. It is so good, but they need to know it themselves. It's not just oral proficiency skills that we're helping with. It really is as well, we're helping with their self-esteem so they can enter the classroom and help their 40, 50 children, however many they have. That's where we're helping not just the one person, we're helping 40, 50 plus students as well, because of the 40 minutes they're getting with their teacher, hopefully later will become 40 minutes in English, and not, as has been, half of it in Arabic or Hebrew or even Russian where I worked. So that's what's really, really important. Sorry, I need to be looking at this. The opportunity for non-native English-speaking teachers in Israel, which is what I've just said. Now, it's 30 minutes on Zoom, which is very, very little in your week. So just 30 minutes. And remember, it's 30 minutes in an evening or a morning. The two of you, because it's only one-on-one, the two of you are going to negotiate the time. You're going to decide on a time, a 30-minute slot in the whole week. You're going to decide between the two of you on the time that suits both of you. Okay, so it's really important. It suits the teacher and it suits you. Yes, and we base the majority of the chats, we base on the BBC 6-Minute English, which a lot of people say, well, it's English, it's not American, I'm used to American. It's only a springboard for your conversation. So you will see that you'll send a 6-minute audio clip for the teacher. Teacher can get 6 minutes in the week just to listen to that audio clip. They will then know the subject you're talking about. They will have confidence. They will know that you're going to talk about a certain subject with certain vocabulary, and they'll go in there and they'll feel good about themselves before they start. And then you'll start to talk about that particular subject, and you can go off at a tangent, but that's the subject you'll base your talk on, and that's very, very important to give them the self-confidence. You do not need to talk about the actual 6-minute audio clip that you've listened to. You can talk about that particular subject, because remember, it's just a springboard. That is sorry, that is for most of our communities. We ask the teachers, and remember the teachers are volunteering to come on this program. They know they need it. We ask the teachers to put themselves into 5 different groups where they belong, not where they teach, that's irrelevant where they teach, where they feel that they personally belong. So they're asked to put themselves into a group of Arabs, Druze, Bedouin, Jewish and Haredi. Those are the 5 groups the teachers have decided on, because we ask the volunteers, are there any groups you'd rather not work with or any groups you'd rather work with? We want you to be really comfortable on a one-on-one basis with that particular teacher. They're adults. They're adults. Lots of people have their prejudices. We're not saying any of you do, but it's fine and it's understandable, and it's much better to be talking for 30 minutes with somebody that you feel comfortable talking to. The Haredi community have a slightly different program, and we've worked with the Haredi inspector, who has actually recently changed. But we've been working with the Haredi inspector. The old inspector will be working with the new inspector coming up. And we've agreed with the inspector to use certain specific materials that they're comfortable with and to use Haredi volunteers for that particular group. And that's fine, and it works because it's helping them with their oral proficiency and it's helping them relax and being able to talk. So that's what we're doing with that group. The other groups are using the BBC, and it's working. It really is. And please, if you're a volunteer and not sure about it, come to me and I'll explain to you how to work it. Okay, so a specific ministry counsellor who is great and works with us sends an appeal to all the non-native English teachers. They sign up. They, as it says, participate in an orientation. Just as the volunteers have an orientation, the teachers have an orientation, where they listen to the programme and then they can ask questions. So they both have their orientation. The teachers then fill in a form with their details, and there's a group of us, including Sally, who is here somewhere at the back, who is helping her husband with the videoing. Thank you. And we also have a lady called Sarah, who can't be here at the moment, they're both working incredibly hard, and we're trying to match the right people with the right one-on-one. We do men with men, women with women. We also know that some of our volunteers object to this. I'm really sorry, but the actual teachers don't, and the teachers want this, and we're here for the teachers. You know, yes, we get an awful lot personally out of it. Of course we do. That's what volunteering's all about. But we want to help the teachers, and if the teachers want to have males with males and female with female, that's fine. And it's not just one specific community who have asked for this. That's really important to realise this. Several communities have actually asked that we do this. So it's, okay, regular feedback, regular monitoring. We want to know what our volunteers think. We've done several pilot programmes. Thanks. And we've done several pilot programmes to find out what is necessary, what is needed by the teachers. The feedback's been amazing. The feedback from the Ministry of Education's been amazing. The teachers, you know, I get a lot of letters from both volunteers and a lot of WhatsApps. Volunteers and teachers, and it's just incredible, and they're thrilled, and they've really grown. I mean, I think it's 600 plus we've had, so, you know, and as I say, one-on-one for 30 minutes for 15 weeks. But it is just 13 minutes, and you can join the other programs as well, because it's only once a week. We have, I think, do we have Laura here? Oh, wonderful, I didn't see you come in. Please. I've forgotten what you call her, not your significant other, but something. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so I basically started working on this. I work in the high school as well, doing with the pupils, preparing them for Bagrut. And when I heard about this program, I said, this is definitely cool. So I started doing it. I've done 7 lessons so far. I have a lovely young teacher from Rahat, a Bedouin teacher, And as you said, her English is great. But, you know, I'm always saying to her at the end of every conversation, wow, it's wonderful, you speak great. And I've chosen this, that we talk about getting to know each other in the beginning, family, each about each other. And then I started using the 6-minute program, and it was always interesting. And we found lovely subjects, and they gave us ideas of our regular life that we could use, get ideas and go out to do things in her community, and it is my community as well. And she's happy, and I'm happy, and I think it's interesting. And like, she had a wedding recently in her family, so she sent me pictures, and I said, that's what we're going to talk about. And she sent me clips of the wedding. It was wonderful. And we just keep in contact. She's stronger on Zoom than me, so she always does the invite. And it was really funny. Last week, I'm sitting with my girlfriend in the hospital who's not well, and I said, oh, I forgot to do my Zoom. And I looked into my phone, and she also didn't get it. So both of us had forgotten. But it was no big deal, because we made another appointment, and then that's what we did. So we just do it, and we're going to keep doing it, and she's great. I love her.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roz. A special thank you to all our wonderful heads and the tutors who spoke. You make a difference. We appreciate what you do and love you. There's a little giveaway that the wonderful heads are going to distribute, and when we're done, we'd like to invite you back into the foyer and allow you to come and ask the different heads of programs, do you have any other questions? If not, of course, you can contact the ESRA office. We're all available. It's possible to go into the website and see. But once again, Shana Tova, thank you, and thank you for all making such a wonderful and extreme effort to be with us this morning. And a special thank you to Anat, where is she? And Sunny, who are definitely the wing beneath my wings. Thank you so much.
This presentation, together with an email with all the contact information and upcoming training sessions, orientations, it's going to be all available. It's going to take place in the upcoming month or two. And don't worry, if you can't do this one, there's going to be follow-up ones during November and December. So we're looking forward to seeing you all on the various programs, as you heard. And you're all welcome outside for questions and answers.
I was personally very much involved with encouraging it, with bringing it back from the dead. Sunny said we have 100 volunteers. In fact, at one point we had 0 volunteers. And to see you guys here today is amazing. But the message that I would like to convey is that you're all here because you're enjoying the program, or you're involved with the program. You've been sold various different options of the program today. But what I would ask you to do is to be ambassadors. In other words, if it's something that you're enjoying, and you all are in contact with other members of the English-speaking community within the country, why shouldn't you go out and help and sell the program? You're particularly well informed after today's really wonderful presentation. And so I would like to recruit you to a team of ambassadors, which is not exactly the same as the different people have been portraying, but who can sell the project better? Who can sell it better than you guys who know it so intimately? So thank you for this very much unscheduled interruption, but it was the point that I wanted to make. Thank you.
Just to emphasize on what Terry said, in the email you're going to receive, you're going to have a written appeal with a picture and a registration link. So no excuses. Thank you very much.